The modern digital era is relentlessly distracting. To cope with mental fragmentation, many define meditation as a search for silence, clearing the mind of all input. Ancient Hebrew meditation followed an entirely different paradigm. Their goal was to fill the mind rather than empty it. We see this practice mapped out in the Book of Psalms, a collection that functions as a sophisticated manual for the various parts of the human soul. In this tradition, the human imagination serves as a battleground, and the person must decide exactly what is allowed to occupy it. To understand this system, you must pass through the introductory gateway of Psalm 1. It establishes the rules for reading the entire scroll. The text presents a specific psychological claim. Human beings are interpretive creatures whose character is shaped by the narratives they repeatedly rehearse. This creates a stark choice for the individual. You are either being discipled by the chaotic counsel of the wicked or anchored by divine instruction. Because the mind is always being shaped by something, the Bible recognizes no neutral territory. Either you choose what directs your imagination, or the world chooses for you. Psalm 1 describes the thriving person as someone who meditates day and night on the law. The Hebrew term for this action is hagah. It does not imply silent reflection, but rather a physical act of muttering, whispering, or speaking a text repeatedly. Biblical authors used hagah to describe the low, guttural growl of a lion hovering protectively over its prey. They also used this exact same Hebrew word to describe the constant, rhythmic, moaning coo of a dove. This was a vocal and physical consumption of truth. Unlike passive mindfulness, this is a deliberate effort to make the words an organic part of the person's character. This creates an infinity loop of spiritual formation. Delighting in a reality leads the person to mutter it, rewiring the mind to delight in it even more. Psalm 1 envisions the practitioner transforming into a deeply rooted tree, drawing life from an internal stream. The biblical narrative describes the original fall of humanity as a moment when ears were turned away from divine instruction to listen to another voice. By muttering God's words, the practitioner reverses that pattern, returning to the original vocation of Eden. In ancient times, encountering God's presence was tied to visiting a fixed physical sanctuary, like this one. Through hagah, that sacred space is moved inside the human person. The individual becomes a portable sanctuary, carrying the life-giving presence of Eden wherever they go. The alternative is a path with no anchor. Those who fail to ground their imagination are described as chaff. Historically, chaff is the weightless, dead shell of grain. During the harvest, the wind simply carries it away. This metaphor illustrates a psychological reality. Without active meditation, the human self lacks substance. It becomes ephemeral, tossed about by every cultural trend or passing influence. Choosing to live without a deep, anchored focus is a decision to invite instability into the core of your life. This raises the ultimate question: why commit to meditating on ancient scripture in the modern world? Constant rehearsal of these texts functions as a survival mechanism for the human soul. It is an intentional hunt for wisdom, chewing on and rehearsing these words until they reorder the subconscious mind. Mastering the art of hagah does more than provide stability. It transforms the person into a sturdy, resilient presence, capable of offering fruit and shelter to a withering world.